Hero Club presents Los Ingobernables de Tokusatsu. Welcome to Los Ingobernables de Tokusatsu, episode 50 frickin' 1. I am your host and co-creator, Wheelchair21. Tonight's episode is going to be really awesome because on our first part, you'll have Visible Ninja and myself talking about the news, and then later on, we will be joined by Soundout 12 and freaking Janitor Joker. At least I should say I will be joined by them as we do a discussion topic. So, with that being said, let me quickly introduce Visible Ninja, who will be opening up the show with us anyway. So, Visible Ninja, what are you doing? How are you doing? And what are we doing?
Well, I am doing fine. We just got done with my Gundam show. I have a cat sitting on me right now. And I'm just bumming around playing some Gundam Versus, so I am good.
Yeah, pretty much like as everyone knows, most of the episode or half of the episode's usually recorded on a Monday, and then, the other half is recorded in the week and we edit it together, sometimes in and out of order because of just how everyone's schedules are intertwined and intersect. So sometimes we record the discussion before the news, sometimes we do it all in one go, sometimes we have to just grab and go as we go along. But never the frickin' less, for our lit list this week, we are going to look at all the variety of toys that have been announced through Tamashii Webshop exclusives, as well as the Bandai San Diego Comic-Con exclusives. And then we have technically one discussion that is two different topics or two different subjects where we're doing technically the kill, fuck, marry one, but in this case we're doing give one a sequel, give one a reboot/repackage, and then remove one from existence. So you'll see those choices when it's in regards to Sentai and Kamen Rider. How we got those things is we just practically did random number generator. If it matches that installment, boom, that's how it got selected. But we'll tell you more about that when that happens. So first off, let's go right into Bandai Tamashii Nations, because Visible Ninja and I, you know how we like to buy MonsterArts, you know how we like to buy Figuarts, and you know how we don't like Premium Bandai making them exclusives. Right, Visible Ninja?
Damn straight.
So first off, we're going to go with the October releases. One of the earliest ones announced was S.H.MonsterArts Godzilla Earth, and that is going to be an 11,880 yen. This Godzilla Earth is a more definitive retool I wouldn't say by much, like there's not too much retooled about it. It's mostly just paint applications and details to make him look more like Godzilla Earth rather than Godzilla Phyllis. However, the description for this figure art, or should I say Monster Art, says, while it will come with an alien landing vessel that, the Earthlings use to return to the planet, it will also maybe come with a small figurine of Phyllis as well. However, none of the images show that thus far, as well as we are getting S.H.Figuarts Amazon's Crow from Amazon Season 2 for 7,020 yen. We also have, now in November, Amazon's Neo Alpha for 6,264. He is actually from the Kamen Rider Amazon's movie, Final Judgment. And then, recently, we just got announced that the Kamen Rider Shin Kuroto Dan figure art is actually two different Shin Kuroto Dans. It is actually Shin Kuroto Dan and Dan Kuroto Shin figure arts. So pretty much it's just a color palette of his basic suit that he wore, like his dress jacket, and one will come with different expressions on his face, and the other one will come with other different expressions that he had, as well as different accessories. Like one comes with the actual continuing Mario pipe tube, the other one actually comes with like additional gash hats for him to hold and hands to properly hold them, as well as their expressions. However, I'm going to say they don't really match. I would say the sculpt doesn't 100% accurately recapture, I want to pronounce his name correctly, was it Iwagana's face accurately, the actual actor who is Kuroto Dan. So, Visible Ninja, out of these, I think, 5 figure art releases, or should I say, Tamashii releases, coming from Premium Bandai in fall, what's your thoughts on all of them?
All right. Well, figure arts, Dan Kuroto, that was just a thing that was going to happen with how popular Dan Kuroto is. He's essentially a meme lord in the Kamen Rider fandom. So they were smart to jump on that, doing two different versions. Kind of interesting, but again, each one is a different outfit and does come with different things. So that's a little bit better than it just being like a straight up like the jacket's painted like a different color, I guess.
Yeah, you know what?
Since
I
they are,
forgot to mention that because
yeah.
of the accessory counts too, their
Hmm.
prices also vary for some reason. Like
Hmm.
Don Kuroto, with the gash hats, which is I think called Shin Don Kuroto, is 6,264, whereas the other one with the pipe is 7,343.
Yeah, interesting to say the least. As for our big boy Gojira, once again, it like I could go on about lazy P Bandai repaints of Monster Arts, but this is a more recent one, and like I said, it's kind of par for the course now. Like Shin Gojira got at least two of those things pumped out, so it's not surprising that the Godzilla from the new anime trilogy would get the same treatment. And honestly, he does look pretty cool. And he'll come with at least the little landing ship. But yeah, I don't know about like the scale figure for Phyllis, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, like it's just like the other like premium repaints of Monster Arts is if you already own them, like I do, like I have no drive to pick this up. But if you didn't pick up the one at retail last year, then yeah, this might be a good idea to go for since he does have the color scheme that's more like actual Godzilla Earth in the movie as opposed to the more green one based on Godzilla Phyllis, even though the actual mold of both figures is the exact same since they're both Godzilla Earth. So there's yeah. You kind of messed up Bandai since I know the first one was supposed to be Phyllis, but you gave him Earth's design. I'm just saying. But yeah, whatever. But yeah, really that's about it. Like there's some nice looking like the Amazon's fig arts look pretty cool. Like I'm not a big fig arts guy, but like I said, they do look kind of cool. So
Yeah, like this is one of those things where I would say 3/5 do look underwhelming for me personally. While I like Crow's Amazons, I'm not too
mm-hmm,
enthusiastic about owning the figure itself or
mm-hmm,
herself since, it's EU. As
mm-hmm.
for Monster Arts Godzilla, I don't really care. I mean, while I like his design in the anime, I don't care too much about the anime to want to own it.
Right.
Whereas freaking Neo Alpha, his suit looks like ass. I don't even think he's that cool, even though people actually like him. We haven't even seen the movie yet, so I don't even know if he's even a good character, let alone having a good suit. And when it comes to Dan Kuroto, it's like I want both of them just because I want the different accessories both contain, like the expressions and
Right.
the gadgets. So it's kind of a fu to a lot of people right now. I mean, then again, anything that's Gem related has been web shop exclusive, so it's kind of par for your course, I think is the term to say correctly. It's par for the course that if you're gonna get Gem stuff, you're gonna have to go exclusive for it.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's the case, that's the case. I'm probably going to end up going in on the one with the tube at least, rather than the other one right away, because the tube one is the more iconic one that's been memed out the
Yeah.
ass. Like, literally out the ass.
Literally, yeah.
So I need that one the most compared to the
Well,
other one.
yeah, like it just comes down to do you want like the continue pipe or maybe do you want him with like the Genmu and the like dangerous zombie gash hats basically. So,
Pretty much, and even then, the gash hats themselves aren't that overly detailed.
yeah. But
So it's
like I
like a
said,
give and
I
take.
guess it all depends like what kind of display or like how you want to present it, I guess is like do you want coming out continue pipe or do you want him in like an action pose about to transform or
Like,
something?
here's the other
So,
thing too: is I really like the darker dress jacket he wore, the one that matched his pants, than the
yeah.
light gray, the smoke gray jacket that he normally wore in the earlier ons when he was first resurrected. Like, I don't like that color. So moving on, we got more Bandai news since we now know what the Tamashii Nations San Diego Comic Con exclusives are. And what's kind of ironic is like one thing right off the get go is that we're getting the Dragon Ball North American Tour exclusives also being released at SDCC. So from what we understand is that the North American tour is going to have like specific figures to the tour, as well as some tours might not have all those figures present at that event. So it's like you might have one of the three, you might have all the three, or
Right.
whatnot. But SDCC is going to have every one of them available. So those are from Dragon Ball Super, Super Saiyan Blue Vegito. You have from Dragon Ball Z, Super Saiyan Broly. From Dragon Ball Z, you have Perfect Cell, and then you have a clear energy aura effect, since there's never been just a basic white clear aura release for the Dragon Ball area of Premium Bandai. Then you also have the Robot Damashis, Gypsy Avenger, and Obsidian Fury in more of a premium color scheme. And then for Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, we are going to have, I guess this is not going to be limited evented for two of these items, or this is actually going to be the only way you can get these items, but it's going to be the S.H.Figuarts Mighty Morphin Green and Red Rangers, the helmetless edition, where they come with, Austin St. John and Jason David Frank like sculpted heads, as well as the black version of the Soul of Chogokin Megazord. Even though I saw a rumor leak that there is a Dragon Zord being planned, however, I think that Dragon Zord is a different event exclusive. But
Hmm.
Visible Ninja, what's your thoughts on the
All
SDCC
right.
exclusives?
Well, I guess I'll start with the Dragon Ball ones. Like I said, they are just premium color versions, so they're not like severely different. Like they're given kind of an extra kind of sheen, I guess you could say, and just made to look like all kind of like nice and sparkly and etc. Like I said, for Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Vegito, he actually does look kind of cool. Kind of the same thing for Broly. Again, does look cool. And apparently Broly has an updated sculpt by what I've seen. So, interesting.
I don't think it's really a
Cells,
full updated sculpt. I think it's just newer colors.
yeah, well, yeah, that could be it too. Probably the one that probably is affected the most is probably the Perfect Cell, since the colors, make his green a lot darker, but like a lot more it just
His
kind of
no, I
changes.
found out what his colors are based
Yeah.
on, and this is just by a fluke how I figured out what his colors are
Uh-huh.
based on. It's actually based on Toriyama's actual colorization of Cell.
Oh, his
Like,
original
it's actually based on
colorization.
like the actual like. You remember how they released a couple of years ago at SDCC the version of Goku that's more based on the lighter tones that Toriyama has for Goku on the
Like the
covers of
manga,
the
yeah.
manga. Yeah, this is based on Cell from the
So
manga.
so yeah, his like original colors, yeah, which is probably why he like he has the dark green instead of the lighter green for his like major color. So yeah, it's kind of cool. The robot Tamashis, again, kind of similar, kind of premium color kind of thing for some of the Pacific Rim 2 Jaegers. They look pretty cool. Yeah, but obviously the ones that we probably care most about is the basically the Jason and Tommy S.H.Figuarts. So yeah, it's kind of I'm kind of not surprised that these are event exclusives. Ever since we first learned about them, like I think we were just
Yeah,
figuring that
like
they'd probably wind up
they're
being
either going to
SDCC
be
anyway.
event exclusives, or like how they do
Yeah.
at some event like some like
hmm
SDCC and New York Comic Con, is that you can only get them here first and then they'll be released to the mass public.
I mean, that might be the case too, but yeah, like not terribly surprised. It'll be cool, but arguably the coolest thing is the Black Soul of Chogokin Dinosaur, Megazord. I said dinosaur, whatever. The Megazord,
Well, I
because
mean, it does
that
take
thing, like,
Dinozords to make, the
I
Megazord.
know, I know. Well, the Dino Megazord, then I guess I should say, as it's being retroactively referred to, but like that thing just looks beautiful. Like the Chogokin just looks beautiful in those colors, and I'm like, this thing is gonna be like ungodly expensive, not only at the show but also on the secondary market. But I'm like, I want that. Because the Chogokin is pretty awesome by all the reviews I've seen, and it just being in that kind of dark, black color scheme is like, my dick.
But it's not a black and gold version.
Well, no, it's not black and gold, but like it's still like the black color. It's almost like Transformers and their love for black repaints. Essentially, it's kind of like in that line. as opposed to like the old style, yeah, like the black and gold like repaints, or I guess you could say the more like Sentai-esque like black versions. Whereas like if there ever
Yeah,
was
I
a
know what you're
black
talking
version,
about. Like, usually, most times, it's always gold, but this case, it's like a rare
it's not necessarily gold
green.
because like I said, like those colors are just like cherry. But I know it's gonna be ungodly expensive, so I'm like sad. Like it
Yeah,
wouldn't
like
surprise.
I can tell you right now, like the
Yeah.
things that I really do look forward to, weirdly enough, is sort of the Vegito, even though I don't necessarily want him, nor was Vegito my favorite of the Goku Vegeta fusions, but like it looks cool as Super Saiyan Blue.
Uh,
As for, the Power Rangers, I want them, but at the same time, I don't want to buy them unless I know that they're going to, do all six. And even then, like the
yeah.
sculpts don't look too accurate as, say, Ultra 7 or Ichigo or Kenji Oba, where the sculpts, are very
Mm.
reminiscent of our tokusatsu actors. So that's one thing I would have to argue is that the sculpts, while initially they did sort of look like our actors, they don't really look like them too much right now in the current prototypes that I see here. But overall, like, I think the only things we just don't like is the Pacific Rim ones, even though like they're actually the more cheaper, I bet, exclusives at the event because the figures themselves were only like $18 a Damashii, which is like the cheapest I've ever seen a robot Damashii.
Well, yeah, but then again, they are also available like domestically, so because
Well, I was gonna say I know they're domestically now, but what I'm saying is in general was
yeah.
like, you know, these things were kind of cheap to begin with. You know what I'm saying? They were just
Yeah.
automatically cheap even in the home area of Japan. Like they were sold for 1,800 yen to 2,000 yen, which is kind of crazy when you put it in that
hmm
regards. But overall, I think that's all the news we really have for this week, which is kind of a light week for news. I mean, there are some other news items going on right now, but like they're all like tabloid stuff. Like supposedly some guy was sending death threats to, I think, what is it, Hibiki's actor today. I saw on the news.
Yeah, I saw that.
Was it actually Hibiki or just a character from Hibiki,
No,
one of
it
the
was
guys?
Hibiki. It was the guy himself, the actor.
Yeah, okay, because I didn't see a photo of the actor. I just saw the name and the show title. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I didn't know it actually was legitimately him.
hmm
What was the reasons for it though? Did they explain?
I I'd have to look into it further. So.
But that's the only other news I can think of is tabloid shit.
hmm
And we don't really do tabloid stuff here unless it's like a death or a marriage or a birth. Because if that was a thing, we'd be talking about how, stimulants, but they don't regard what stimulants he uses.
Yeah, that's why I have my show to talk about tabloid stuff. Woohoo!
So then, let's move on to our discussion. Now, as stated earlier in our episode, we are on to our discussion where we will be featuring yours truly, Wheelchair 21, Soundout 12, and the returning Janitor Joker, our boy Mucha. So the three of us are here for this discussion. Now, originally it was going to be one closed off kind of like topic, but actually we chose two different rounds. This topic is kind of similar to the, bang one, marry one, kill one scenario, where it's more like give one a direct sequel, make one reboot it or repackage it as a brand new show, or completely erase the series from existence. Now we are applying these three selections to two categories tonight, which are three specific Sentais and three specific Rider series. How we did it was we used a random number generator, and if their production number or whatnot matched, whatever number came up, we went with that process. Now, when it comes to Rider, it does get a little icky because we did include stuff like Amazons. We did also include stuff like the Zoe, J, and Shin films, which I did kind of out of order by explaining that. And we excluded for Rider specifically the first and the next films. Those are the only real things we did exclude. But if you're a main like Rider production, you're included. With Sentai, we don't really have to worry since Sentai's never really gone off the script and have kept themselves pretty
I
frickin'
think we
canon.
forgot to include Akiba Ranger in our random selection.
Akiba Ranger's its own thing.
Yeah, it's its own thing. Fuck it. Fuck it.
They're the Bangai Heroes of series.
Basically, they
Yeah.
don't even, like, the style's so different, too, it doesn't even match. It's not like Amazon's, where Amazon fits in the writer style.
Yeah, no, Amazon's is a Rider series, but Akiba Ranger is like, we're the unofficial Sentai where we're not even official, but we're the joke of the series kind of thing. It's like, yeah. It's just like, you're here, but you're not really here.
But
You're
yet they
not
got
here
more
with
figure
us,
arts than
though.
Jetman did.
Wait, what? What'd you say about Jetman?
Akiba Ranger got more figure arts than Jetman.
Yeah, and they're also the reason why we never got really any more Sentai
Jetman
figure
got
arts.
2, Akiba Ranger got like 12, plus a giant freaking mecha and 3 changers.
Don't forget, they are the reasons why, Fig Arts kind of died in the first goddamn place for Sentai.
I'm pretty sure it's because of Bandai.
I think it's
There's
because
a lot of issues.
Sentai figure arts sucked and nobody was buying them, regardless of Akiba Ranger. Akiba Ranger was kind of the big push for Sentai figure arts, and that just didn't work out.
Well, don't
I
forget
think
they
it's
tried to use
because
that
Bandai-
collect and collect gimmick that wasn't really popular in Japan.
Right.
And let's face it, Toei and Bandai market the Rider figure arts way more. They care about that shit better.
They also make them better figures. But they also lately have been kind of slacking in actually making things.
Hey Hasbro, I hear Bandai of Japan is really fucking up. Maybe, do the thing.
But anyways, so like I said, we're gonna do, give one a sequel, reboot/repackage, or remove one from existence. So I think we'll start with Sentai first, because that's the one we actually planned out doing in general. But then we were like, let's do 2.
And that's the one that's the hardest
sake of
one
one.
for me.
Oh no, it's gonna be hard for I think a majority of us, because we're gonna try not to play too biased, but we're gonna be biased, unfortunately. Then we're gonna have Filipinos trying to kill us, and we're gonna be on hit lists and yada yada yada, and so on and so forth.
Don't worry. Me and the Filipinos have a wonderful relationship.
Only know one, and his name is Projekt.
Oh God. So me and the Filipinos don't have a very good relationship. There's a potential of war. Everything's going to hit the fan.
Yeah, I have a feeling that Ukiya Seed will be our only saving grace. He'll be trying to like save us from death.
Oh, he's part of Hero Club? Is he like... Does that mean like one of my friends is part of Hero Club?
No. I still can't believe that, because you were like, oh, this is Nick, isn't it? And I'm like, nah, it's not Nick, but you would assume it's Nick because Nick. But it's not.
Come
It's
on,
not.
the first time that I made the timeline for Lit, he's like, what about me?
Exactly, that is exactly why we assumed it was a Nick thing. But nevertheless, so like I said, we're going to go with Sentai first. So when we did the random generator, we got these 3 Sentais. We got Shinkenger, Bioman, and Gal Ranger. Now that's the order the random generator produced these shows out for us. So when I first saw
blame
this,
them.
yeah, when I first saw this, I just sat there going, "My God, this is going to be one hell of a ride." Because for a lot of us, these are shows I think a majority of us actually do enjoy and like. So this one's going to be like one where we're going to be like going straight down the middle, going, which one do I kill? Which one do I give a sequel? Which one do I reboot or repackage? So
And which
on
one
and so
do I
forth.
commit marriage to?
Yeah, that's kind of what's going on right now. Direct sequel seems to be like the marriage portion. The reboot repackage seems like the one you just like, and then from existence means pew, pew, bang bang shooter. So Mucha, since you haven't been here for a while, how about you lead us off?
Lead us off? Okay. Now, I haven't had much time to discuss this, so, in my mind, so this is just going to be on the spur of the moment, but I think, removed from existence, I might have to go with, man, this is tough. I might have to go with Gal Ranger. And I can't really say a reason why other than the Power Animal gimmick has become the staple of Sentai, that I think removing it really won't change anything about Sentai. Like, you'll still have the Power Animal gimmick in, like, Alba Ranger, Bokenger with its vehicles, Go-Wanger, Shinkenger, Ju-Oger.
Like what you're saying is the gimmick would be eventually discovered.
It would. And Gal Ranger was the reason why Sentai changed a lot. Like, it's the reason why Sentai is kind of still around anyway, because Time Ranger was such a colossal flop. But could you imagine what Sentai would be like if, say, Time Ranger was still around and they just made another Sentai like Time Ranger, but not really like Time Ranger because they know it was a flop? Like, it still had the same style and aesthetic that Time Ranger was presenting, with the hard sci-fi and very serious and dealing with the problems in a very mature manner. That would be pretty. I think that's some.
Yeah, because
That's some timeline that
I
people
haven't really
want.
heard much of Time Ranger flopping, but I heard it wasn't too received.
Its ratings weren't as bad as O-Ranger, but its toy sales weren't good either, which was kind of the
pretty
problem.
shy. Like, the reason that Time Fire has a dinosaur mech is because they wanted to get the Power Animal kid audience to buy the toys.
But
from my understanding.
So they were trying to introduce like the idea beforehand of like kids who were.
Part of the problem with the Time Ranger toy line as well is it was very expensive for the mecha, and the roleplay stuff wasn't too enticing. And it was overall, I think it was kind of
the Time Ranger toys were pretty shite. Not gonna lie. I mean, they had like that thing that turned their swords into a rifle that was so orange and ugly that I honestly wanted us to remove that from existence.
It's so funny, like that weapon is cool, but yeah, the bright orange is really gaudy.
It looks like a freaking BB gun.
It looks like a freaking BB. But yeah, no, like you say, you would take out Gal Ranger because no matter what, you feel like they would just stumble upon, hey, maybe we should do this collecting connect gimmick.
They would stumble upon the whole, okay, what's gonna sell? Animals? Okay, let's make an animal Sentai that's gonna have all the animals. I still like Gal Ranger for what it did and all the things it presents, but I don't think I'm gonna miss it too much. I do enjoy the cast though, so that's gonna be a sad thing to miss.
Bye, veterinarian mechanic guy. We'll never see you again.
Bye, Vet of Kiryu. Sad days indeed.
If we had to wipe one from existence, it would just be the Time Ranger finale for me, because that made no fucking sense.
The Time Ranger finale wiped the show itself from existence.
But yet, Domon's bastard child still existed for Gokaiger.
Shh. I was reading Shogo's blog about Time Ranger and how they're just the worst cops ever for time police because they interfere with the timeline so much that Domon had a kid in the year 2000.
All right, so what's your next choice with the Bioman and Shinkenger? Where do they fall?
Oh man, I can't really see a sequel for Bioman honestly because it just kind of ends very fanatically. But at the same time, I guess the repackage would be Bioman because it'd be nice to see like a modernization of the show based on how technology has evolved over the time and how people really want to be transhumanist now.
What you're saying is either straight up redo the concept or just like reboot it in general, because that was the idea, is that like the reboot repackage kind of idea like we were talking about was either like you just kind of do a different concept, like if you thought you wanted to explore something different with the show, I guess, or you. Well,
I would say I think the difference would be this how different technology has evolved in this current era. Kind of like how I want to see like a reboot of like Gridman, but given how internet culture is now as opposed to 1994. Just I want to see like in modernization of Bioman's ideas of like technology and bioparticles and how Dr. Man was really trying to turn himself into a robot, and that's kind of like there's a people out there that really want to be like transhumanists that just want to go above and beyond what humanity is, and we really do have the technology now to where we have like these prosthetics and we're making robot bodies and robots and robot dogs, so that'd be pretty interesting to explore. And I guess Shinkenger would have a sequel just because by virtue of it always has like a generational thing going on with it like Die Ranger, so it's very more plausible to have a sequel.
All right,
what it would explore I don't know,
yeah,
because
I was gonna say, because they pretty much killed off the main leaders, even though it was I think there's an episode where they insinuate that some of the ancient Gadoshu leaders are actually hibernating under the river. But
if that's the case, then you can really do something like that, where a new Gadosh threat has appeared, and it's the new generation of Shinkengers up for the task.
Because the character of Dokoku and his American counterpart Xandred is alluded to being one of the great warlords of the Nanashi Renju, where he had like acquired the most power. But then there was parts where we saw under the rivers, like where a lot of the monsters of the week, as well as other Gadoshu warlords.
Like there was also like Akamaru, who had his own boss, but we never really saw his boss.
Yeah, like he was like supposedly either his own boss or someone else's servant, and we never saw any of that. Then there were like the two legendary Godoshu that appeared in the movie. You know,
Yeah.
so there are other like like it's like almost like how the orgs, where it's like, oh yeah, we do Duke General orgs or whatever. We kind
Yeah.
of just like hibernate, and some of us come active every couple of thousand years, and we try to take over the world, and then we try to awaken our brethren and say to the younger ones that don't piss us off, or Master Org will kill you, when we're really just a council of evil orgs.
Yeah. Now, the reason I didn't say Shinkenger should be the one that's removed is because I think what it does is it brought some serious energy back to Sentai, where it felt like it was dying off a bit. And it introduced the whole samurai concept finally after so long. And the show is presented as a Sentai samurai movie in a way. So I don't really want to get rid of that kind of.
Because it's the first one to try the full samurai genre.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tackle it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't really want to get rid of something that could potentially be added on to future Sentais. Like with Lupodo, maybe have a ninja samurai Sentai.
Alright, so Soundout, I guess you're next.
Okay, I would say Reboot Bioman. It's kind of the more obvious choice, but yeah, basically everything you said about rebooting Bioman I completely agree with. As for direct sequel versus deleting, I think the show I'm going to delete is Shinkenger.
I mean, I can't really argue because it was really a tough choice between who I want to give a sequel to and who I want to get rid of.
And
like,
the reason
all
why
three
I
of the shows are potential.
I think with Shinkenger, it did influence Sentai to kind of push itself forward, but I think that also could have happened in the other series, given the right circumstances. But the thing is with Shinkenger, by removing it, it prevents me from ever getting into Sentai, since that was the first Sentai I watched. But on the flip side, it saves the Power Rangers fandom from Samurai.
You bring up a very good point.
So,
and really, if you take away Shinkenger, what does Sentai actually lose besides the samurai aesthetic and the samurai style of a Sentai? Not much, because the mecha and Shinkenger aren't all that impressive, honestly. And you have Shinken Gold, who really isn't all that cracked up to be. I mean, the only unique thing that we have from Shinkenger is probably Shinken Blue.
Yeah. Yeah, no, really, I think that Sentai would not suffer too badly from Shinkenger being gone, but Power Rangers would benefit greatly.
I mean, Shinkenger is the one show that put producer Utsunomiya on the map, and he came back with other shows that really made people optimistic about the shows he was working on, such as Kamen Rider Wizard, Zyuohger.
It's funny because after he did Wizard, he was sullied, and then when he did Zyuohger, he wasn't sullied.
He also did Gokaiger and Tokyuger, so
he has like a pretty checkered history when you think about it, then, because he's done good, he's done some bad, he's done okay, so yeah, it's done decently,
Yeah, but I think Shinkenger gave people a lot of hope about him because he was like this new blood, and he came out with like this banging Sentai that no one really expected. Because the funny thing with
Shinkenger, following Go Under, I did not expect to be taken on such an amazing ride that Shinkenger was able to perform with. It was like one of those ones that really made me feel like it was a 90s Sentai updated for the modern standard.
I think Shinkenger's
and then it got completely dragged through the mud for Samurai.
Yeah. I think Shinkenger's one of Shinkenger's bigger issues, and why that maybe it's okay for it to not exist is really the middle portion of the series is kind of like a drag at times.
It starts to regress into, like I said, a 90s Sentai where like the middle of the show doesn't really exist.
But they're not really entertaining episodes either. They're just kind of like there, and you're just kind of like,
But then we also have the Decade crossover, which was, monumental for the fact that Sentai and Rider never had a proper crossover before.
Oh, you're right. Get rid of Shinkenger, because we have to deal with Rider Sentai crossover episodes.
Rider Sentai crossover episodes are fine. It's the big ass movies that never.
Yeah, but did we really have to sit through an hour-long special with Ninja and Drive?
That's the thing. It's non-canon to both shows, so you can ignore it.
Or Gaim and Tokyuger.
The Gaim and Tokyuger one was really good.
Was all right.
Or what was
I think the Ninja vs. Drive was terrible from everything I heard, which is why I still have never seen it.
The only good thing
But
about
you
Ninja
you
and
should see it
Drive,
because
okay,
Red Tracer.
Ninja and Drive. The only good thing about it is like the opening act where like Aka Ninja gets arrested, but then he like disappears, and like when he disappears, the one to have the handcuffs on him is like Kiriko, and she's looking like how the what? No, no,
Well,
what?
the best thing about the Ninja Drive special is that Kyosuke's actor from Car Ranger is the main villain,
Oh yeah,
and he
isn't
wears
he?
a fabulous wig.
I was gonna say, isn't
That
he the
sounds
one with the wig?
amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
It is, and
He's Blue Voodoo.
he plays a character that was in one episode of the original series, and it was the Doctor who figured out Kamen Rider's weakness.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
But anytime Kyosuke is around, it's always great. I mean, just watch Ginga Man. Every time he shows up, it's about to go down for our boy Goki. Okay, so I guess it's my turn then for the
Yeah, I
deletes.
mean, Gal Ranger's the one I'd give a sequel to.
I think the
Yeah.
interesting thing is that really there's no right or wrong answer with these ones. I think
Yeah, I think it.
you
Yeah,
can really make a case for either or.
yeah, because like
Maybe not Bioman to get rid of because it really did impact the franchise in a monumental way, not only in how it presents storytelling, but also the impact it had on other countries.
yeah, because here's the thing, Soundout. So you were gonna give a sequel to Gal Ranger, right? So what were your reasons for the sequel exactly? You tell me first, and then I'm gonna go after you.
Well, process of elimination, I figured that we need to reboot Bioman and get rid of Shinkenger for the sake of everybody. And, yeah, there's kind of like Gal Ranger getting a sequel. I'd do it 400 years in the future with a new generation discovering the power animals.
Yeah, you know what's funny though? The one thing I don't like about Gal Ranger is the fact that they start mostly with all their powers and no real discovery, which is kind of a weird part. But I would like to see when they do the sequel, if they were to do a sequel, to have them discover, like the animals kind of like come for them or something. You know what I'm saying? And take them to the island.
Yeah.
I feel like that would help, or take them to the Turtle Rock where Tetsu kind of like lives. That
I
would
wasn't
help.
as much like with Gal Ranger. One of the most intense episodes was when they killed the Gal Rangers, and a sequel needs to have something that either matches that or suppresses that for not only shock value but emotional, heart ripping, or just insane like stakes like that where it makes the villains feel like real threats.
I mean, another favorite moment still is when they're like, "Oh, we're gonna fight for our home," and then Master Org Senki, as they call him, just like bitch slaps all of them, and then the rock goes crashing into the earth, and they're like, "What happened?" He fucked your shit up.
Shit happened.
Yeah, he fucked you up, and now he's gonna. destroy
Another
the
thing
world.
about a Bioman reboot I really want to emphasize is because it was something I forgot to say. I really would want the Bioman reboot to be in the style of like an 80s show because Bioman really is so 80s in its style and presentation that it's almost a crime to not really present it in that manner.
It's like how Stranger Things deals in the 80s, so it's like you have to like actually make it in the 80s, but make it more higher production value and standard production expectations to make it fully authentic reboot. You're saying in a sense.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Where I want it to be modernized, but I also don't want it to forget its roots.
Yeah, okay, so for my three, this one's really hard for me because with Bioman, I do like it. I have seen it, and I know the cultural impact it's had for not just Sentai, but Power Rangers, because if it wasn't really kind of for Bioman, like Saban kind of stumbled upon it through that, and then it gave him the idea to try to work on getting it over, and then you had, like, the Jetman and all that stuff. But, like, for me, I kind of would say out of, like, more of the real connection with Gao and Shinkenger because of the age. Like, I have seen Bioman, but I would probably wipe that one from existence just temporarily because with Shinkenger and Gao Ranger, I feel like with Gao Ranger, I like would sound out. I'd give that one the direct sequel, but for the reboot and repackage, I would do Shinkenger. But the only changes I would make is that I would want to have more of a story where it's not necessarily like Kiva, where it's shifting to two different timelines, but I'd want a bit of the context of the threat of the Godoshu's, attack throughout all of the, centuries that they've allegedly been fighting the Shiba clan, still present in the in the series. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't just want wall scrolls. Like, I'd want, like, flashbacks where it shows different... Like, you remember how in Dark Shadows, the original Dark Shadows TV show, like, they would go through the ages and they would show, like, the actors portraying different characters from that generational bloodline?
Yeah.
Like, I would
Yeah.
want to see a show where, like, the characters are playing, like, their ancestors of the clans. And, like, it's showing, like small flashbacks of, like, oh, the Godoshu first showed up in, like, 1208 or some bullshit like that, or blah, 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 BC. And then it's, like, showing the evolutionary of how they got, like, the origamis and how they were using the kanji and the katakana and using, the seals and stuff like that. I would like to see like a more of a progression if you were to reboot and repackage it, where it shows a more generational progression that leads up to this very moment. Like, I don't want two divergent stories. I would just like some episodes where they were like side stories or like a net movie. You know what I'm saying? Like literally like additional material to show, oh, we didn't discover how to transform right away. We were just in samurai using, ancient,
We were in
wall
Arbs.
scrolls. Yeah, like, like they were like just in regular robes. They were in regular armor. They were using, traditional, calligraphy seals where they're writing it on paper and throwing it at them. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I would like to see
Yeah.
like that ingenuity showing of the progression of the Shinkengers. And it was like, oh, we actually didn't create the origamis until, like 1409 or some bullshit like that. Like, supposedly, like,
After we
Shinkano...
saw Samurai Champloo, we were just like, we need origami now.
Yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm saying is, like, I would love to see that it was, like, a progression to explain, and that's why blah, blah, blah happened. And the real reason...
Better yet, just do it Arrow style and have flashbacks within the episodes.
Yeah, like, it would be within the episodes, but I wouldn't want to make it that every episode needed a flashback.
Every episode gets a flashback, and that's a completely different story from the main story.
Like, I wouldn't want it too much, but I wanted that it, like, still ties to the precedents of, like oh, this, and this, like, you remember with Mugai Daio that they said, oh, they had to seal it away? Well, the Mugai Daio episodes would be about why the fuck was it sealed away while they're trying to unseal it,
Yeah.
But that's what I think I would do with the repackage. With Gal Ranger, why I would choose that one to have the direct sequel is because, like, Mucha said with the Gorma, the orgs, the Oni, they come back, like, every couple
Yeah, and
of
there's no
centuries.
true Master Org in
Yeah,
Gal Ranger.
and there is
like,
no true master. It's just a collective of the Council of Dukes.
They're basically a legion, if you really think about it.
Yeah, they're literally like, the ones who have the most powers also have the most knowledge, and for them to have the most knowledge, they're like an actual senate. They're a senate of evil who kind of votes on who's going to be the generational leaders. It's almost like how Enma would specifically choose one of the terrors or titans to fight for him. But in this case, the collective senate is like, well, one of you guys needs to go wake up now. Which one's going to wake up? I'll go. Oh, we'll go. Okay, we'll work together. And then, it's like boom, boom, boom. Like, in Gal Ranger, they do refer that, what is it? The three that we do see that are renamed Renta-Axe, Nazor, and Mandalok in Urashu and something. Anyway, supposedly those three were actually like the highest of the highs of all the Duken generals. Like, allegedly they're like the real top tier of the Senate.
And they all fit the motif of like a body part for like a face, where like the eye guy was of course the eye, Ura was like the nose and ears, and the blue one was the mouth.
Yeah, and that's why, like, I'm saying is, like, they were supposedly the top tier of the Senate. So if those three created that guy who was who was stronger than Hakaju Maru or whatever his name was, the one that, Gal God / Animus lost to, which led to, Silver fighting him by himself using the cursed Loki mask. That means these guys are stronger than all those 100 guys that fucking combined, over 1,000 years ago. So that means if those were the top tier, like they were allegedly somewhere in the top, whether they were the true hierarchy of the sleeping orgs or the mid card, that means you could just wake up one and he could be even stronger than those three combined. So that's why I like the idea of giving Gal Ranger.
And Gal Ranger itself treats itself like a fairy tale, and so you can kind of like continue on the fairy tale in a different story, if that makes sense. Like how some fairy tales have like stories after.
Yeah, because one thing I was talking with Soundout about was that one thing you could also do is, since there's so many power animals, you could actually do a story where for a majority of the series, the Senshi themselves are connected to a completely different power animal, where in the final episode, it's almost like Koiger 100 years later, where Candelia gave them the wrong Judenshi, so they were all the other, Senshi, and then they get the Judenshi right, and then they're finally the right colors, where at the last freaking minute, it's like Tetsu's like, oh, hey, these are the power animals you need to really to defeat the monster. So at the very last episode, instead of the leader's green gorilla, like it's almost like Gao Kong is the, you know what I'm saying? It's like they're all different colors, and either in the midway point or the finale, it's like, oh, hey guys, the real power animals want to finally link with you to make you the true warriors.
Gal
like
Ranger.
yeah, like the midway point, like, oh, that was just your test. Like the first 20 episodes are like just a test, and it's like the next 20 or like the next 20 to 30 episodes are the real
The
struggle.
real shit.
Yeah. I think that would be a unique story too. So it's like,
Guys, I just realized something.
that I'm the only one who's probably going to get killed by Filipinos.
Besides that,
Probably. But also at the same time, we're finally going to get an answer to whether it's Roki or Loki. The official subs come out on the DVD.
oh yeah,
Oh, Jesus Christ, that's going to be terrorizing.
it has to be Loki.
It has
Just-
to be.
I mean, it's not Ryan, it's Lions, right?
Yeah,
Am I right?
I'm pretty sure. Because like
Japanese is weird, though.
that's the thing though, is like, when it comes to Gal Ranger and Shinkenger, they're two of the ones that like I hold kind of quite dear. Because the way to explain it is, Gal Ranger is the one that made me really have to go in search of Sentai when I didn't get the Elephant Zord brought to America, and I really liked the Sword and Shield, and so that got me into Sentai. And then when Shinkenger hit, like I was already deeply invested into Sentai, but it was like one of those ones where after Shinkenger, I didn't get really hooked by Goseiger. Gokaiger only hooked me because of my nostalgia kind of scenario, where it was like I was having all these guys that I had already binge watched through, 2002 to like 2008. I've watched so many various shows where I was like, oh, I know him, I recognize him. Hey, this guy's back. Where it just caught me with the action, but I never got fully invested in what the show was really about, because like the show didn't have its own story except we're a nostalgia trip. And
Oh
then,
crap! I just realized why I can't get rid of Gal Ranger, so I might have to change my answer.
why?
Gal Ranger gave us the greatest Sentai movie ever in Gal Ranger vs Super Sentai.
Oh God, you mean the part where they fought the Duke Orgs and we got the lion and
We
the
got
full
Red
cast cover?
Falcon, we got Big Juan, we got
Oh, you mean the direct-to-video movie?
Go Yellow.
Go
Yeah.
Yellow, Mega Pink, Ginga Blue.
But don't forget, freaking what's his face always loves to come back as Big One, but yet he rarely shows up as actual V3. He'll voice V3, but he won't show up actually on screen as.
So I changed my answer to sequel to Gal, reboot Bioman, and get rid of Shinkenger.
But no, like that's the thing is like it's kind of funny though, because like I like those series a lot. Like those are like some of my favorites, and it's one of those things where it was harder for me to choose with Bioman. It's like I really do like Bioman, but unlike Projekt, our native Filipino member, you know what I'm saying, it's not my nostalgia, it's not my childhood, it's not
I gotcha.
my connection, but it's still a great show. It's like if it was Jetman in its place or Liveman in its place, I would have a harder choice saying Shinkenger Gao or Liveman Jetman. That's really hard if you had those three for me. If it was like, say, Gal Ranger and Bioman plus some other, Sentai series that I might not be fond of or never just watch, I'd probably just throw that for the sake of, hey, like, oh, hey, I'm trying to think of a Sentai that probably I never did. Like Turbo Ranger. I'd probably say, oh, just cut off Turbo Ranger, because Japan didn't even really like it that much either, so,
No one wants to sub it.
That's, well...
Turbo Ranger is a great show. Don't listen to the haters, my fellow Americans.
Shut up.
Someone sub it. It's so great.
Someone is
Someone
subbing
sub
it. I actually know people that are subbing it, so stay tuned.
The question is, will they have it subbed before Shout Factory does?
Probably not, but you know what? At least we'll
Right,
get episodes,
Alright, so I think we pretty much went through our Sentai portion.
So the answer we gave for Sentai is that really any of the three could be either or.
Pretty much, which was actually a lot different from what I expected when we did the generator last night, and me and Soundout were like shocked at what came out. Because we did the generator like late last night, and we said, all right, we'll think on this, and we'll come up with it later. And I did kind of sit on it for a while, going, well, which one do I want to reboot? Which one do I want to, sequel to? Which one do I want to wipe? And I sat for probably a couple of hours this afternoon trying to figure out which one I was going to do, because I wasn't sure how I should address it or present it in a nice way. Whereas the Rider one we came up with because we didn't know how long we would carry our discussion, so we said let's do two for the sake of just, time and duration. And for our Rider portion, this is what we got in our generator, which we had to actually go back and regenerate because we got confused on our numerical value of which show was which, where we came out to Stronger, Ryuki, then Den-O, in that actual order. We did not expect it to come out as chronological order at all when we generated it, but it came out straightforward, for our three choices.
Straight out of Compton.
Yeah, it just went right chronologically. Stronger, Ryuki, Den-O. So, since Mucha started last time, let's go to Soundout.
Save me
this
for last,
time.
baby. Cause...
Okay, I'll save you for last then. Soundout. You go first.
All right. Well, we all know which one I'm going to pick as the sequel.
I don't, because
because the world needs Kamen Rider Strongers.
Dude, you're reading my mind.
Like, in all seriousness, Kamen Rider Strongers would be amazing.
Strongers.
Strongers.
It's a Z.
With a Z.
And its theme song will be Stronger by Kanye West.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it'll be even better. It'll be called, the first season's theme song will be Die Set Stronger, and the second season theme song will be Stronger Zone.
Believe in Stronger Zone.
See, it works.
No, it'll be the strongest zone. Believe in the strongest zone. Bow, bow, bow.
Kamen Rider Strongest.
The series, unlike Amazon's, will actually tie into the original Showa series, because Mr. Titan will have survived beyond everyone else from the series.
Well, he already did. He's in Build. He's billionized Titan in Build, right? Right?
Sure.
He's not? I'm sure.
Anyways, Mr. Titan basically decides, well, everyone I knew and everyone I fought against died, so I'm going to start trying to resurrect people from the dead, which then causes him to create clones of Stronger and Tackle, who act very similar but look completely different, as well as his own organization of monsters that he creates. What ends up happening at this point is that Stronger becomes Strongers, the Rider, which is a power-up form beyond charged up Stronger.
Yo, I'm just going to say this right now. I wasn't expecting Sounded to pitch a full pilot.
I'm pitching a full pilot. I want this.
Okay, someone put Soundout in an elevator so he can make this elevator pitch immediately.
Yeah, because I'm just sitting here, I'm like, wow, this turned into Concepts and Creations without us even saying Concepts and Creations. Fuck me.
Alright, I didn't put much thought into my other choices. This is the one I was thinking about. Anyway, so we finally get Kamen Rider Tackle as a canon writer.
Hey, can we bring back the chick from the Decade movie?
No.
Oh, I like her, though.
We get a new Tackle.
Can we get Fumika Baba? Can we get Fumika Baba?
Maybe.
Okay. Meet me halfway. Meet me halfway on this one.
So also from Stronger, we also get in Strongers, Mr. Titan gets really obsessed with cloning people, so he ends up creating clones of former Rider villains that he once worked with or knew of, such as Apollo Geist. General Shadow would get brought back as well. You'd also get Shinigami Hakase, and just because that villain never gets enough love, Baron Tusk from V3.
I was going to say, we ain't going to get freaking Ambassador to Hell since he's dead. Both of them.
It's okay. These are clones, so you can have different actors. Because they're not good clones. I'm saying this because Mr. Titan was the only actor that's still living from Stronger. It's hard to make
I know that. I know it's hard to make a sequel when there's only one guy left.
Anyways, and the...
wait, Soundout. You can also have V3 portray Tachibana again.
Yes, clone Tachibana is V3. and the whole thing ends with Kamen Rider Strongers and Kamen Rider Tackles fighting Mr.
No, wait. I figured it out. Tachibana's granddaughter from the Ichigo movie.
There you go. And then Ichigo makes an appearance.
As his like Shin Ichigo suit, his new
No, he gets a new form called Shin Ichigo's.
Stronger.
Shin Ichigo's. No, Shin Ichigogo. Makago.
Mahagogo, yes.
There you go. That's my pitch for Kamen Rider Strongers.
It has to be written by Inoue.
And see, what they'll do is they'll change the title for season 2 and it'll be Kamen Rider Strongers plus Kamen Rider Tackles. just to pull that old trope. What were the other 2 shows we had? I put way too much time.
Deno and Ryuki.
I would say let's delete Ryuki because it already deleted itself.
It did.
And let's reboot Deno so it doesn't get 20 movie sequels. Even though I like the Deno movies
I was gonna
more
say,
than
are you done
actual
now?
series.
Are you done?
I'm good. I spent a lot of thought into Strongers.
Okay. So for the 3, my choices are, this is gonna be funny because I'm not gonna lie, I feel like if anything, I agree with Soundout with giving Stronger the pitch because I know for like, I think ever since Amazon's got announced, that was our inside joke was like, what are they gonna do next after Amazon's announced Stronger? Are they gonna be like are they gonna be like X's, triple, Kamen Rider triple X, not your porn parody, you know? Like what are they gonna do next? So we just assumed they would just go with Stronger because his name actually sounds like a good idea for, if they were to do another Amazon series. But like I do feel like I don't want them to straight up do how they did with Amazon's, where it's just based on the concept. I'd rather it be actually more canon to the original, production. I would agree with that. When it comes to actually, no. Like, it's one of those things where, yeah, I would prefer a sequel, but it also would work good as the reboot, too, because of Amazon's, because, you never know what the hell's going on. Because, oh, wait, no. Dude, Sound Out. No, I'm going to have to disagree now. I want Stronger as my reboot. You know why? Because I want Maki to appear as Tachibana if he isn't already killed in Amazon's. No,
yeah, if he doesn't die in the movie.
Yeah, because if he doesn't die in the movie, then... No, just make Stronger a reboot in the Amazon's timeline and make Maki still there since he's supposed to be Tachibana of the Hulu series.
Yes, and then the finale is a team up between Amazons and Strongers.
Exactly. So just make it a reboot, sort of make it like a reboot / pseudo sequel, but not a direct sequel. Whereas with sequels, I feel like sequel, just give it to Deno and just make it the new Deno show or the Zero show. As with Ryuki, wipe it from existence, even though it really does need to just be rebooted to have a real actual story for Kenzaki, because as me and Mucha said, there should have been like a cop that was one of the writers trying to tackle Kenzaki from the inside, but they were stupid and didn't do a lot of things.
I mean, isn't the reboot of Ryuki Gaim anyway?
Shut up, Mucha. Shut up.
No, that's the sequel.
Yeah, it's the sequel.
Alright.
Because,
because all writers...
Wait, isn't Madoka Magica the
No, that's the prequel. That's the prequel.
Yeah, because writer continuity makes less sense than Sentai continuity, and that's really saying something.
Yeah, no, so, I do feel like, out of anything, Deno should get the sequel, and it should just be the goddamn new Deno show, because, why do you cast a character and then bring him back in movies and not actually do anything with him? It's so stupid.
Because it's Toei, and they're the company...
That's the Shirakura way.
Yeah. Because, here's the thing, that's my issue with, Ultraman, where they would have, all these Zero movies, but never give Zero a TV show, and I'm just so you had to shoehorn him into Geed?
Yeah.
How giddy of them.
Yeah, how Geederous they were. They were very Geederous, or generous, But, it's one of those things, like I said, I would probably give Deno the sequel, reboot Strongers with the Amazon storyline. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I still do like Soundout's direct sequel idea, but I also want him to be... a reason to be put on Amazon is to be a sequel to Amazon's, you know what I'm saying? So at least they can still have a Amazon's cinematic universe, as you would want to say, an aligned
You mean
universe.
A continuity?
Yeah, an actual continuity. Something that Heisei writers can't do anymore, or at all.
Never have been able to, but yeah.
Yeah.
Showa had it down, but...
Yeah, Showa kind of had it down. It wasn't the greatest, but it still was something.
I mean, the first 5 shows literally led into each other.
But here's the thing: did the shows actually have a significance when tying into Amazon, though.
Amazon? Yeah,
Yeah.
Amazon tied into X because
No, no,
Tachibana pulled
no.
through.
But I'm saying like the significance of the events of their shows didn't really apply though to how Amazon got brought into the continuity though, right? Except for Tachibana.
Well, no, but then like later and Stronger, Amazon's a part of the whole like crossover arc.
Yeah, that's what I recall. Is that he became like more canon because he
But
actually
like
returned.
E3 is like a like a direct sequel to Rider One, and then X is X kind of does the same thing that Amazon does, where it's just like here's this other writer that was created separately, but now we brought Tachibana in to connect everything, and then it all just comes together at the end of Stronger when it has this whole arc with past writers coming in.
Yeah, and that's what I was trying to say. Like one of the issues I gotta say is with the show that they only used really Tachibana as that focal point to help keep everything aligned when they weren't meeting each other or crossing each other's paths. Cause
Right, and he was like that bridge, and then like he'd have moments where he'd be like, "Oh yeah, I taught X how to ride a motorcycle once. I'm going to teach you, Amazon," and then found out it was much harder to teach Amazon how to ride a motorcycle than X. But he would like have those
yeah,
like
yeah.
shits.
That's like one of the things. Like, so it's like when it comes to the Rider one, like Rider is a lot easier to choose between. I think who you want to erase from existence, and who do you want to keep. I think.
Oh yeah, because there's more crappy writer shows.
It's really it's sadly true. It's sadly frickin' true.
Writer is like a concept series. It doesn't really exist as a series. It's more like they keep trying things, and sometimes it works.
Rider exists now as not really Rider, but Metal Hero.
Yeah, it's, as we said
Basically.
before in like the first 10 episodes, thy name is Metal Hero.
Yeah. So, like everybody else, my sequel would be Kamen Rider Stronger, but not really Kamen Rider Stronger because my sequel would focus on a potential... Because, you know what? Rider timelines are already fucked up, and they change history with retcons all the time. I'm just going to give Tackle and Stronger a child. And he's his own damned Kamen Rider. And his name is Kamen Rider, I don't know. Someone get me a dartboard. Volt. There, because they're both electricity people.
No. If you say Kamen Rider Volt, then that means Hirose has to show up. Yutaka Hirose is just gonna be like, hey.
See, he's the
name.
mentor. He comes back as a Tachibana like character. And he's mentoring.
Son.
Yeah.
You know what's still funny though? How Hirose once said he would come back to Sentai if they gave him the right script, and I'm like, I guess they haven't given him the right script yet.
They probably haven't given him any script.
Because it's Toei. But yeah, I would have this be a stronger sequel. Maybe mine would probably focus on maybe a potential child, or just continue on a stronger journey. Because as we all know, these cyborgs are immortal. But since Joe is dead in real life, have it be a kid to keep on the legacy of Stronger. Like Stronger's still out there, but there's someone new who will carry on his dream as well.
That's why I worked with my Mr. Titan concept, only because he's the only returning actor we could have.
Yeah. The one I would get rid of is this is going to shock. This is going to shock Wheelz and everybody. I'm going to get rid of Den-O.
Okay.
I'm going to get rid of Den-O because it's not a writer series. It is very much not a writer series, and I would rather it just be called Time Trainer Den-O or whatever.
Time on the live.
Yes. Time Warrior Den-O. He's a Metal Hero series that isn't a Kamen Rider, and it's much more palpable that way.
It really is, because
It's
Den-O
really
is like a
hard
Sentai turned into a writer.
You know, it's really hard to like determine what a writer show is anymore.
It really is.
I told you, Soundout,
changed.
like I was telling you the other night, is like sometimes the consistency is what hurts the shows now, because they have to keep making these shows back to back to back. So like it's like the vision with Sentai can't really ultimately be changed too much, but with Rider they changed it so much where I'm like, Toei needs to get this stick out of their ass and try to revive some old franchises, because my god, it's like so boring at times with Rider, because it's just like copy and paste. Hey,
every Rider show was the same essentially at this.
I mean, even Build is basically a better written X-Aid.
I mean, yeah, and Build's also kind of like Gaim.
And it's kind of like
X-Aid
Drive.
is kind of like Gaim.
Pretty much that's the problem too. Is I think Alex said it best on Twitter. is that once they have a winning formula, they're like, let's just copy and paste it for the next 5 years until we have our juices, until we get some
Yeah.
new thought process, and
Until
then
we milk it
yeah,
dry.
I
yeah,
mean,
so,
at least
People don't
Bill
like
is
it.
turning out better than X-Aid.
because like that's the sad part is like they did that shit with Double, and then they did that shit again because of Gaim, and it's like, oh, what are you gonna freaking milk next?
A cat.
Probably.
And I would reboot Ryuki, and I've had a bunch of ideas on how to reboot Ryuki, but
Most of it's just the concept of like what was the evil entity controlling that, like what was the master plan really that needs to
I
be
mean,
completed.
Ryuki itself
Right,
is kind
reboot
of not
Ryuki,
very
right.
writery in its setup because Kanzaki really isn't like the organization kind of thing going on.
Yeah, like
He just seems like a dick.
Ryder, like Ryuki is more of a real metal hero. Ryuki is like a reintroduction of Jiraiya.
I can see that maybe.
You know how you reboot Ryuki, right?
Call it Kuga.
Call it Dragon Knight.
I mean, maybe if I was desperate.
Yeah, he's not Steve Wang desperate.
I just reboot Ryuki because I feel like you could make a good writer show. Even though Ryuki, all of Ryuki's like very writer ideas are very unintentional and probably not well thought out.
Yeah, like that's the thing about dealing with writers. Like we've always talked about is that like the vision gets askewed after
A lot of writer
after
shows,
Agito.
a lot of writer shows make you go like, wait, how did we get here again? Like in the Heisei era, at least.
Yeah.
I would say 90% of them go, hey, how did we get here?
I
There's
mean,
not very a lot of consistent ones. Like, I'd say of all writer, Forze and Kuga are the most consistent in what they do from beginning to end, in terms of Heisei. Like, once you start Kuga, you know what you're getting into from start to finish. Like,
there's
no
like a really well-crafted story and character piece.
Yeah, and Forze is kind of, well, you know what you're getting with Forze from beginning to end. There's no like real curves of like, wait, how did we get to this point again?
Yeah, because like
Yeah, no,
you can see
Build
curves
starting
in a
is
lot of
like-
other shows.
Build swerving into a war between three nations was not something I was expecting.
Yeah, and now we have the whole spoiler alert to people who care about spoilers. Ryoga is possessed by an entity called Evil, who was actually Stark the entire time. And you're like,
Yeah.
wait, how did we get to
Freaking
this
nuts.
point? How did we get here?
No, like what's funny though? When they introduced, oh, here's the four nations, I'm like, either the villain is whoever's inside the wall, or it's actually the nations are going to be fighting each other for supremacy, which is really caused by the Pandora box. It's like
I
self-awareness.
will say they set it up better in Build than X8, where they were like, it's like the happy video game show, and just kidding, all of humanity is fighting monsters and is being set up to get themselves killed.
Exactly.
And then swerve again to, oh look, somebody's just cheating all the time. Freaking Kronos.
Because
Kono.
deep inside, da
It's why I didn't like X8 that much, because it kept swerving.
X8 swerved though because of the weird popularity shifts and Toei having to suck the sack of the fandom, begging them to do certain things with characters. And that's another thing. Toei went back to like that one
Like,
time.
I just
where
kind of
they
hate how
have
they
to
spent
listen.
all this time with, like, evil Gem, only for him to just become an ally later and become a better character. And I was like, what a weird turn.
No, this is the problem though. Don't forget is
Also,
that.
all the deaths got undone.
But don't forget, the biggest issue with Toei is like, there's like those times where when they start getting a lot of money for their gimmick or their toys, that they like start reading like the fan forums and are like, oh, if we kill off this character, or if we do this with this character, or we don't listen to the fandom, and we don't do this or this or this, we're gonna lose all of our money. And I'm like, they've already put so much money into your toys. You already get for your buck. Why cater to them? Why cater to them more?
The real problem is that, like, ever since the Kyriai incident, they've been so careful.
Wait, the what incident?
When they killed Kyria in X-Aid, and there was like a huge revolt. There was a huge revolt from the fandom and also from the kids.
But don't forget though, like the fandom, like when it comes to Toei, they've catered in some of the worst possibilities where it really screwed up the show. Because remember how freaking Udabuchi straight up stated that like I didn't want to do anything with Baron, and like they kept forcing me to do all this stuff with him. So like he just found ways to try to make the character so ill redeemable, but then they were like, oh, you got to make him like this redeemable kind of heroic kind of character kind of thing, and he never like he wanted him to just be like some guy who hates the world and led to his real villain downfall. But in this version, like in the final product we got, it was like, oh, he was just pissed off because his parents left him and yada yada yada.
Banana Man is actually just Ankh from O's, only without the redemption arc, and Ankh didn't deserve a redemption arc to begin with. So
no, like that was the thing that was kind of stupid. It was like they Toei told like what is it, Udabuchi, that he had to do like this huge freaking redemption arc, and then like Urobuchi himself stated that he was very indecisive about if he wanted to keep Zangetsu alive or actually killed.
I think he had too many episodes on his hands.
I think that's another thing too, because don't forget when our friend Dustin met Urobuchi at an anime con and asked him about Gaim. Gaim was almost going to be over in like 2 weeks, and Urobuchi straight up said, I haven't still yet written the final episode. And I have to have it in by the time I get back from the convention. Like he was expected to, like 2 days after he gets home from what was it, anime, the biggest con on the West Coast, was it Anime PAX or something?
Yeah.
Like PAX, he was supposed to have the script in like the week he came back from PAX for the final episode of Gaim. So just think about that. So like he was very indecisive on the finale. But like that's the thing is like I feel like Toei's biggest issue is they're either the meddling from upstairs or the meddling for them thinking that they have to cater to their fans. Because you've seen a lot of shows and animes have faltered because if the writer wants to do their own story but their fans turn against them, their publisher or their producer is like, you can't do this anymore.
Literally watching it happen with Star Wars.
Yeah. But the thing is with Star Wars, though, they're doing stuff that...
Actually, better example, the DC movies.
Why would you say the DC movies?
Because the DC movies constantly are trying to appease fans, and they just keep pissing off fans more and more because they keep trying to appease to them too much without realizing how to do it.
Yeah, because, like, here's the thing. You can appease the fans by making, like, good stuff, but the thing is, though... here's the example. Remember in Naruto when they killed off like a bunch of guys right when they were going to prematurely cancel the series? Well, because they killed off so many people bought the book again and they renewed the contract, and then they had to like rewrite the whole, oh, you guys all died in the pain arc. Well, we have a jutsu to bring everyone back if they didn't die more than like 24 hours. This is a legitimate thing that happened. So it's like,
wow.
It's one of those things where in Japan, they're very, very afraid of their own fan base. They're afraid. Where I feel like, in the West, we can get away with more liberties. You know what I'm saying? It's like if it's done, it's done, and it's either the writer and the producers or publisher all agreed to it and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Like I also feel like when you're having to kill off a character, there should be a reason for it. Like I do believe Kiria's death was supposed to lead to something, because its shock value came so suddenly when everyone actually thought he was the light.
Yeah, it showed how serious Gem was at being a villain.
And I think also the problem was he did take the life of the show out of the show, because Kiria became like the real reason majority of people were tuning into the show, because the other characters at that point were just bland or copy and paste of like dramas and other productions at the time.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing, is that like the other characters weren't as interesting, but if they'd kept him dead, it would have had more of an impact than bringing him back.
But they have to be happy-go-lucky, plucky, tokusatsus where everyone can come back now. Where back in the day where we grew up, if you died, you kind of aren't coming the fuck back.
And almost to that point, like I feel like Build's deaths make like stick better. Because
it makes until sound like a cool guy.
I was gonna say, until they kill off Grease, I'm not gonna care about the show.
And as long as he gets a power up, he'll be fine. But we know he's fine for a while because he's in the opening credits. They like redid the opening well past his introduction to put him in the credits. And they don't spend that.
And we all know that his bottle that he has an affinity to is robot.
Yeah.
Because he uses robot jelly. It's probably delicious. But I'm not eating it because I hate robots.
Yay, jelly.
But yeah, no, I gotta say, like it's kind of interesting. I know we went off on a bit of a huge kind of like 10-minute tangent about Ryder's
Don't worry,
identity.
Wheelz will cut it out.
I'll probably cut it out.
When do we not go on a tangent on this show?
I don't know. It's always a tangent.
It's Los Ingobernables de Tangent.
Probably. It's still lit.
See, we have to keep it consistent at least, unlike Ryder.
We know what we are.
Yeah, we know what we are. Bunch of assholes.
Yeah, nobody's going to be wondering from 50 episodes from now, how did we get to this point? The only thing they're going to be wondering is why are we still on YouTube?
That's the question.
We'll get to copyright bots.
Exactly. Yeah, frickin' exactly. But nevertheless, we've carried on the discussion portion for almost an hour. Yeah.
Carry on, my wayward son.
And
we clearly need to be going for another half hour, 40 minutes.
Nah, we don't need to. We don't need to. We can start wrapping up now since, we had Mucha back for at least 2 episodes, which is cool. We had Soundout here. I think this is like one of the first or second times we've actually had both of you guys on an episode together in a while.
I think it's this is like the first time, I think, for a discussion.
Yeah, I think for the first time for a discussion. I think Mucha was on a couple of times with news, but that was about it. But this is like the first time we had a discussion. Like, there's other topics we can have in the future. We just gotta like rewrite and structure and plan out our stuff. Ever since you came back from your 5 to 8 week semester that you had, your course, like everything's been so out of funk. And then there was that hack at your bank where people got their identity stolen and money taken, and then you had your car.
I still don't have that money back.
Yeah, I know, it's a shame. It's really a effing shame. So, people, you guys need to donate to that Soundout wine bottle fund that we have on Patreon. So, alright now, since we are going off now even more on a tangent, let's start wrapping this up. This was episode 51. I was your host, Wheelchair21, where you can follow me on Twitter and YouTube at Wheelchair21. Instagram is TaJa_Doyle. Here's how you can check out Janitor Joker.
You just said my name, so I think that's all that needs to be done, baby. At Janitor Joker on the Twitter and Toku Warriors on Facebook, because really, I don't care about anything. I don't care about promoting, and I don't care about what life lies ahead. All I know is that the Albuquerque Isotopes are going to the World Series, baby. I know.
Possible.
It's impossible. They suck.
When hell freezes over, it's possible.
And we got Jetman DVD, so yeah, anything's possible. All right.
We did, and Toku Twitter is disappointed for some reason.
All right, so Soundout, you go. How can people follow you?
Well, if you type Soundout12 into Google, you get my incredibly popular Twitter account, and then followed by that, you get my YouTube channel, where I do videos and stuff. Mostly just model kit reviews now, but, semantics.
Is it really?
I don't know.
How come the first thing I saw when I looked up Soundout 12 is an arrest record?
You're looking up the wrong Soundout 12. Did you put a space? Because the space makes all the difference.
Oh.
And my name doesn't have a space in it. Oh. Or a hyphen. People spell it with a hyphen. I'm like, no, there's no hyphen. I'm not Spider-Man.
You're not Spider-Man?
Then the Daily Bugle would be wanting pictures of you.
No one wants to know I'm Spider-Man. It leads to too many problems.
Like you being erased from the MCU?
Yeah, but I'll be back. I got another movie contract coming up.
Yeah, but really, would it be the same, though?
No, plot twist. It's Miles Morales.
Oh, man, if it's Miles
Morales...
Plot
twist, he already has an animated movie, so...
Plus, the MCU doesn't like black people. What are we talking about?
So the MCU doesn't like black people because China doesn't like black people.
See? The Chinese know what's going on. They're woke.
They're racist.
they're just racist. They're not woke. They're racist.
One person's racist is another person's woke.
You know what? That should be a t-shirt. That should unfortunately be a t-shirt, because that's just so effed up that it's slightly true. Nevertheless, we will see you next week with episode 52. Hey, it's Wheelchair21, and thanks again for listening to an all-new episode of Los Ingobernables de Tokusatsu. If you want to hear more content or see more content from the Hero Club YouTube channel, we're going to need you to subscribe, like, comment with some feedback, and share this channel with a friend. We also would like you to check out our website, hero-club.com, and follow us on various social media outlets just by looking up Hero Club for Life, as well as the stores you see are where we shop. Anyways, thanks again, and we'll see you all next time.